It is 0 degrees here in Canada, which of course will be 32 across the line in the States, in the other official language, as I call it. But what we've got now is still got snow. The snow's off the trees, but you can see the damage. As you drive around, you can see how many tree boughs were broken and seriously sagging. So it definitely has had its effect. But there's still, as I said, quite a bit of snow on the ground. We had over a foot, I think, which for us is unheard of. I mean, we really don't have that sort of snow. And so it is off the roads, delightfully so, or off the main roads. I still got a little bit on my road, just sort of in places where people don't drive very often. Do you know what I mean? No, in the traffic area it's perfectly clear, but and now we're getting that bit that I really hate, which is what I call the dirty snow. I love white snow, but when it turns black along the edges, yuck. So that's what it's beginning to do now. It's, you know, it's melting and it's slushy, and I'm glad I don't have to walk in it because it's nasty. All right, so a couple of things today that I want to talk about. Number one, for those of you who are regulars, what I did was, because I had a couple of people mention that it was difficult to hear over the music on the vlog the day before yesterday's, that would have been not the one I put up last night, but the night before. The one I originally put up the night before. What I did was I reprocessed that video, but pulled the music back just to the front end of it. And so yesterday I put up what looks like two videos. One is the revised version of the day before. So for those of you who couldn't hear properly and want to, feel free to go back and listen to it, or not. Doesn't really matter. But certainly enough of you did hear the words because of the comments that I got, and the emails that I got. And in particular, I wanted to give a shout out to Brittany. And Brittany wrote to me, and she was so thankful, so very thankful for Leslie's story. Because Brittany in her time has suffered from her version of agoraphobia and has overcome it and then fallen back into it again. And so part of what she heard was there is still hope. And that is the most important thing that we can have. So Brittany, absolutely. And I encouraged her to join us on the broadcast so we could learn more about her and help her as a team. But even if she doesn't, just to let her know that we are here for her and we'll support her any way that we can to take the steps she wants to take. And I think that's really what I wanted to remind you all is, I'm pretty certain that Leslie's sitting there in Scotland, you know, shaking her head going, who, me? Because she's done it a number of times where people have been inspired by her story each step of the way. I mean, the first time she went out of the door, people were inspired, including me. And so I know it's difficult to believe that your little acts of courage inspire other people to do their acts of courage. But that's really the whole discussion that I want to make sure you understand. Whether you are a mother or a friend or a relative doesn't really matter. The truth is that we each, in our own way, are role models for other people, either good or bad. And that's something that you need to think about on a daily basis. What sort of role model am I for my children? You know, let's drop all the excuses, but you know, what sort of role model am I? Am I somebody that my children are proud to call their mother? Do they see you fighting to do your best every day? Do they see you overcoming things? Do they see you coping with tragic things? Or what is the role model that they see? Because as we know so often, it's a case of monkey see, monkey do. If children get a pathetic, I'm going to call it that, I don't mean that harshly, but if they get a weak role model, then they become weak, because that's what they know. That's how they see life unfolding. Okay, this is how you react when this happens to you. Now, on the other side of that, and we know that this is also true, that you will get what I call a totally regimented reaction. I want to call it military. And that has absolutely no compassion. And that also is dangerous for children. So, because we need to know that it's okay to have emotions, but they need to be kept under control as far as we can. And they need to be appropriate and exposed appropriately. So I often talk to people in terms of talking back to my emotions, because my emotions used to control me completely. And I want to tell you, that was a very tough way to live. And that's the time that I was in depression, was when my emotions controlled me. And I really got fed up with that. And so I look at it now and I go, you know, it's okay to be sad, and I am sad about things, and it's okay to be angry, and I am at times very angry about things. But it's about, does it control my life, my day, whatever? Or is it just an emotion? And I guess that's what I would say. There's a difference between an emotion and a way of life. And so be very aware of what we do now. We've been talking a lot about fear this week. And fear as it relates to holding you back from doing what it is you want to do. And the honesty of it is that really so often, and you really need to have a hard look at this, so often our rational lies are our way of stopping us from doing what we want to do. Yeah, well, I would do it, but... Now, we all know that I could lose 20 pounds in a heartbeat if I'd stop eating sugar. I know that. Intellectually, I know that. Or I could lose 20 pounds in a heartbeat if I'd get on that total gym 3 times a week for 15 minutes. That's all it takes. Now, if I did the 2 things at the same time, I could lose 40 pounds by the summer. So why don't I do it? Okay, and I'm giving you my side of it, but as I'm doing this, I want you to be processing your version of this, because you've all got your own version of this. So here's why I don't do it. I get home from work and I'm tired. Then the next thing is I need to put up the vlog, and by the time I've done that, it's already late at night. Time for me to go to bed. And somewhere in there I eat or don't. Actually, somewhere in there I eat something. So, if I give you my excuses, they actually sound pretty good. Plausible. But what I've also done in the same moment is tell you that losing weight for me is not a high priority. It's not a passion. It's not something I really want to do. It's something I think I should do. Now, if you ask me on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I want to lose weight? I would say probably about a 6. To be honest. Yes, I do. I want to lose weight more than I don't want to lose it. But obviously not enough to do the right things. Make sense? I obviously don't want it enough to do the right things. So sometimes we need to be aware of that reality. And that's my right as a human being. We get given choice. I choose what I put inside my body every day. I choose whether or not to exercise. I make that choice every single day. And I can justify that I'm happy at this weight and da-da-da-da or whatever. Really, just rational lies. So where's the fear? And that's the question. Is there some sort of fear attached to this? And if you ever listen to Dr. Jerry Jampolsky, pretty sure that's his name, Jerry Jampolsky said a long time ago that the whole story is around 2 different emotions, either love or fear. And everything else is a variation of that. And I always remember that when he first wrote that book. And I think it's called Love is Letting Go of Fear. So what he said basically was that if we love ourselves enough, we will let go of the fears that stop us from doing what we want to do. So let me give you some examples. Do you think that Bill Gates loved playing around with computers enough to not worry about everybody's judgment of him? To not worry about everybody's judgment of him and the fact that he bailed out of university so that he could carry on playing with computers. Do you think he loved what he was doing enough to ignore everybody's negative input? And you can be sure that he had tons. Had to. he wanted to play with computers so badly, he was prepared to put up with anything. You know, if you look through history, anybody who's achieved anything major has had to overcome incredible negative input from family and friends. And I mean, I keep thinking about the Wright brothers, you know, out there on Kitty Hawk, you know, busy flapping their wings going, we can fly. Yeah, right. Do you think all their family and friends thought they were insane? I'm sure the bankers did, but you know what I mean? It's just like, how many people sort of went, oh yeah, right. You can fly. Try jumping off this building, see how you do. Not so much, no. But you see, somewhere in them, they were a lot more than a 5 or 6 out of 10 on this issue. They were 9, 10 out of 10. I'm certain there was some negativity that crept into them, but not enough to stop them going forward and keep trying the next thing. Edison, when he was trying to discover the light bulb, you know, how many thousands of different ways did he try, you know, before it worked? And he just kept on. He just kept saying that every time he failed, it was another step closer to success. That's what he loved about it. I now found another way that it doesn't work, which must bring him closer to what does work. So these people who have these incredible strides forward in our development, if you like, don't think about the downside in terms of that it won't work. They keep their focus on that it will work, and that what they're doing is bringing them closer to the result. And so, as I said about Manon yesterday, she's sitting in France and she is systematically trying to tidy up her bedroom. Now, I am certain that there are some of you who are going, she's still doing that? Because you could probably tidy up your bedroom, if you are a neat person, in a matter of minutes. But for somebody who needs to declutter, you know, it can take a year and still have stuff left over. If you've got to do it on your own. Now, if you have somebody you can do it with, it makes it a lot easier. And I'm not sure how Manon is doing hers, but Manon, one of the things that I find when I'm doing that is I have 3 different boxes. And everything I pick up, I put, that's the first thing I do, is I put it into a save it or chuck it box, right? One is, okay, I do want to save this. And the other one is, no, this has to go. And the reason I do that is because it gives me a second chance to re-look at the things I think I want to save. So at the end of the tidying up session, the last half hour, I look at the box where I've said, yes, I want to keep this. And I go, right, now then, you've got half an hour. If you want to keep it, put it away. And whatever isn't put away, then, you know, you've got to throw away. Well, I tell you, that speeds you up no end. So, but do I believe that Manon really does want to tidy up her bedroom? Yeah. And do I know that it's a struggle for her every time she does it? Absolutely. Because it doesn't come naturally to her. It's not something that she naturally does. So when I hear people talk about, oh, well, you know, how come it can take so long? Well, it means that it's not an issue for you. It's like people saying, well, if Leslie doesn't want to go outside, why doesn't she just walk outside the door? Well, hello. Leslie could give you a year-long discussion on that one, I'm sure. But she overcame her fear. And in her way, Manon overcomes her fear every time she starts working on her bedroom. And if Manon can actually talk in those terms and go, okay, I'm going to challenge my fear today and tidy up. Because her love for having a tidy bedroom is greater than her fear of how boring it is to have to put things away, or whatever it is for her. Do you understand? So it's either the love of something or the fear of something on everything we do. And so I look at it, and I look at what Brittany was telling me. And I go, okay, Brittany, you managed to claw your way out and even get back to driving and doing that, and then something hit you emotionally and you let it get control again, and then you retreated again. Well, I'm pretty sure that Brittany wants to get outside again and start driving again and be free again, because she wrote to me. You see, if she really didn't want to do anything about it, she would never have written to me. She would have seen the vlog and went, yeah, I got that, I know what you're talking about. But she didn't. She took the time to write to me, and to write me a long letter as well. I mean, it was just great. And explain a lot of things. And the bottom line was, I want out. I don't want to do this anymore. I am fed up with giving control to my fear, is what I heard. Yay, Brittany. Good for you. So on a daily basis, give yourself very small baby steps of things you can do, as Leslie did. And I'm pretty certain that Leslie would be the first person to shake her head and go, actually, I didn't do that much. Because somehow or other she doesn't think that. Now, did Leslie do it on her own? Absolutely not. She had a lot of support from a lot of us, but she also had support from some social workers. And so that is important to know as well, that sometimes if your fear is debilitating to the degree of agoraphobia, that you may need some expert help on getting you out and about. Now, I'd like to suggest, Brittany, that if you've managed to do this on your own before, then the chances are that you can do it on your own again, especially if you make up your mind that that's what you're going to do. But if you need help, then get a friend. And here's the first thing I would do. I would make sure that you and your friends sit down and you discuss your best excuses. So in other words, and I do that to people as well, in other words, what you say to them is, listen, if you hear any of the following excuses, it means I'm trying to put you off. And I want you to not accept that. Or I want you to call me on it. Because maybe these excuses are so ingrained in me that I don't even realize I'm saying them half the time. And the other thing I find quite amusing is if you actually keep notes. You get your helping person, whoever that is or whoever they are, to keep notes on the different excuses, and you go, okay, you used that one yesterday, so we can't have that one again, and start making fun of the excuses. Now, that will probably make you a little bit angry, But that's good, because the person you're angry at really is going to be yourself. So welcome to our world, Brittany. I know you've been watching us a long time, but thank you for coming out of the woodwork and actually letting us know that you've been watching us for a long time and that you want some help. And there are a whole group of us that would be more than happy to support you in this journey of yours, and we wish you lots of luck. The most important thing is that we want to know how you're doing. So as you take these steps, let us know, because Brittany, as you know, your little steps, however small they seem to you, or however big they seem to you, can also inspire others. And we can start a chain reaction of people overcoming their fear just by talking about it. Do you understand that? It's talking about the fear that gets rid of it. Talking about how it affects you. Getting angry with the way in which it affects you. This is DearMamaSal saying, take a good look at what's scaring you today and start taking baby steps out of the way. Bye-bye for now.